I was born and raised in Dorchester, the youngest of three. My parents owned a brown triple-decker and we lived on the first floor. When I was a kid, my father used to tell my brother and I stories from when he was in the Army. He never pushed them on us, we would just ask him. He would tell us what it was like to jump out of planes, the time he went to Honduras, and when JFK came by. When my brother was 18, he joined the Army and he went to Iraq twice. When high school was coming to a close, I decided that I too would join the Army. The stories of college parties didn't interest me. I wanted something different. So one day I went to the recruiter's office and started the paperwork. I signed up for 3 years, infantry. Less than a week after graduation, I was in Fort Benning, Georgia. After basic, I was sent to Louisiana. We spent most of our time in Texas because Louisiana was an awful state. Not long after that, I was sent to Afghanistan. I was the radio man, and it was a good job. You always knew what was going on. When we got there, we were sent to fire bases, Bruin and Nawa. The winter in RC East was cold and boring. As the spring came, we were sent to Firebase Devil on the border in Patika. Every year, the Taliban would cross into the country via southern Waziristan. Our job was to simply thin the herd. When our time was up, we were happy and ready to leave. After returning to the States, we came under orders for Iraq, leaving in 6 months. When we got to Baghdad, the place was falling apart. We were sent to the new Baghdad Sadr City district. My platoon lived in the children's department of an old fallout shelter. It was a busy place. We were then moved to Obeidi, the cigarette factory. There weren't many amenities, but life was alright, and we were left alone. For our last 3 months, we were sent to Muthana. It was a nice, wealthy neighborhood. It was only a few miles away from our old AO, but it felt like another world. We were set up in an abandoned house behind a police station. Everyone in the neighborhood spoke English, and we also got to go to some cool places, like the Iraqi Communist Party headquarters. It was really nice inside. When our 15 months were up, we were sent back to the States. I was short timing. I had 3 months left to go. I went straight into clearing when I got back, and I was ready to go home. On April 3rd, 2009, I went to out processing, picked up my paperwork, and drove back home. I was ready to start my post-Army life.